What are the customs when moving into a new home?
The Torah says that when they would go out to war, one of the questions that they would ask the soldiers, the fighters, before going out to war, is there anyone that built a new house and didn't inaugurate the house yet? Mi haish asher bana bayis v'lo chanochi. The Targum Yonason explains, what does that mean, v'lo chanochi? He didn't inaugurate. Says the Targum Yonason, it means putting up a mezuzah. When you complete a house, you know that the first action that you have to do before entering the house, before start living in it, is putting up a mezuzah. We know that in Eretz Yisrael, in Israel, you have to put up the mezuzah immediately. In Chutz La'aretz, you have 30 days to do it. Some people put it up right away, and after 30 days, remove it, take it to check, and put it back again. But the idea is, when you put up a mezuzah, it means that we are here to live, and we are here to stay. However, even though that is the basic Chanukah Sabais, there are some customs that we have when we start living in a new house. The minhag is, among many Jewish communities, and specifically the minhag in Lubavitches, that how do you begin living in a house? Through a seudah, through a meal, a get-together. You invite a bunch of Jews, and you have food, you say l'chaim, you say some brachas, and that is called Chanukas Habayis. There are many different texts that are said. In Lubavitch, it's not the custom to say them. It's brought down in Kabbalah, it's brought down by the Chida, it's brought down by the Ben Ish Chai, mainly the Sfardim, that you say many psukim, many mishnayos, many parts of Torah, from Zohar, commemorating the fact that we are starting a Jewish life, a Torah life here in this house. However, there is a letter from the Rabbi that the first thing you should do before moving into the house is bringing in a bunch of little children, tinoikes shel beis rabban. The Rebbe says better with their melamed, with their teacher, and together they should say some psukim, they should say a prayer, a tefillah, they should say a bracha, you should give them some nash, and that's how you start a Jewish home. That's a letter from the Rebbe that we do that. Another thing is that you have to make sure before moving into the house that there's no dangers in the house. The whole idea of putting up a railing on the roof, a railing by the steps. If you have a porch, all these railings before moving in have to be taken care of before the actual Chanukah Sabais. Another thing that's very important before moving into the house, there is an interesting letter from the Rebbe, actually a few of them. The Rebbe says that every single house should be a bayis shel Torah, a house of Torah, a bayis shel avodah, a house of worship of Hashem, and a bayis of gemilas chasadim, of kindness. The Rebbe says that in every single house you should have at least 3 books that are the foundations of Chassidus. Book number 1 is called Keser Shem Tov. It's Torah from the Baal Shem Tov. Second book is Magid Dvar Yaakov, Torah from the Magid. And the third book is Tanya. So these 3 books. Later on, there's Ayrav of the Rebbe. There should be a Chitas in every single Jewish home. A Chumash Tehillim and a Tanya. Another Ayrav from the Rebbe is that every single Jewish home should have a pushka, a tzedakah box. But not just a pushka should be on the shelf, but the pushka should actually be put into the wall. And that way the wall becomes an actual mitzvah. The house becomes part of the mitzvah. It's brought down in a different place that you should have the pushka preferably in the wall of the kitchen. Rabbi explains that being that the kitchen is a place where a lot of Jewish life is being involved, and the main part of the house, ikore shel bais, akeres habais, the wife, the woman, the mother is very active there. So that's where the beginning of the kedusha. So just to conclude everything, as we said, we should have put up mezuzahs either right away or 30 days later, depends on Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz. You should have a chassidische farbrengen, a get together that you say brachas By some communities, you also say all these different parts from Torah. The idea that you don't move in before you take care of the problems of the railings. The idea that you try to bring little kinderlach, little children to Nikas Beis Rabbon to say psukim and to say a bracha. The idea that you should have special books there, Keser Shem Tev, Magid V'Rali Yaakov, Tanya, Chitas, and obviously having a pushka should be part of the house, that the house should actually be a dwelling place for Hashem, a dir b'sachtenim, in your own individual home.